Okay, let's dive right into this explainer because I'm going to let you in on a massive secret. Almost everything social media tells you about getting rich, it's an absolute lie. Seriously, you scroll through TikTok or Instagram and bam, you're hit with this very specific, flashy image of wealth. We're talking teenagers flexing in matte black Lamborghinis, wearing designer hoodies that cost literally more than a high-end gaming PC, lounging in these insane glass-walled mansions. But here's the reality check. Based on decades of massive, boots-on-the-ground research by Dr. Thomas J. Stanley and Dr. William D. Danko in their classic book, The Millionaire Next Door, that whole flashy aesthetic, it's a complete illusion. So today, we're going to break down their findings and translate them into a real-world blueprint that you can start using right now. Section 1. The Social Media Wealth Myth, Flexing versus Reality. So there's this absolutely crazy contrast between the social media flexers and what the actual data shows. The authors of our source material didn't just guess. They spent years interviewing thousands of real, everyday millionaires all across the country. They dug into tax returns, bank accounts, daily habits, the whole shebang. And there's this amazing story where they invited a group of deca-millionaires, people worth over $10 million, to this super fancy penthouse suite in Manhattan. Well, the researchers were totally shocked. They expected these folks to show up in custom-tailored suits demanding expensive Bordeaux wine and caviar. Instead, these self-made multimillionaires strolled in wearing completely ordinary clothes and politely asked if they could just get a cold Budweiser. It perfectly hits the nail on the head. The people drowning in debt are usually the ones desperately trying to look rich, while the actual millionaires are happily hanging out in modest neighborhoods, wearing normal watches, and driving used Toyotas.
Which brings us to a crucial point, maybe the absolute most important rule of personal finance. High income just means you make a lot of money. But true wealth? Wealth is only defined by what you actually keep and accumulate. Think about it like this. If a corporate lawyer makes $300,000 a year, that is just their income. If they immediately turn around and spend $301,000 a year on a massive mortgage, luxury car leases, and designer clothes, their wealth is zero. Heck, it might even be negative. On the flip side, someone making $60,000 a year who lives modestly and saves 15 grand to invest, they will easily become a multi-millionaire over time. Income is what you make, wealth is what you keep.
Moving on to Section 2. Income does not equal wealth. The math of accumulation.
Okay, let's look at your expected net worth. The authors created this super simple whiteboard formula to calculate if you're actually building wealth or just blowing through your paycheck. It's really straightforward. You take your age, multiply it by your pre-tax annual income, and then divide that total by 10. So to put that into perspective, let's say you're 30 years old and making $80,000 a year. 30 times 80,000 divided by 10 gives you $240,000. According to the formula, that 240 grand is the net worth you should have at that exact stage of your life to be considered right on track.
Now, depending on how your actual savings match up with that formula, the researchers split people into a few categories. The ultimate goal here is to be a PA. That stands for prodigious accumulator of wealth. Basically, it means your actual net worth is twice your expected net worth. You're crushing it. Conversely, if you only have half or less of your expected net worth, you are a UAW, an underaccumulator of wealth. Now, I know what you're thinking. I'm a teenager, my income is practically zero, but listen, it's the mindset that matters right now. If you make, say, $5,000 a year from a part-time job and you stash half of it away in an investment account, boom, you are already acting like a true PA.
All right, Section 3, great financial defense and protecting your money.
I want you to think of personal finance exactly like a sport. Your salary, your chosen career, maybe your side hustles, that all makes up your offense. But your budgeting, your saving, and your ability to live below your means, that is the rock-solid defense you absolutely need to actually win the game. And look, being frugal doesn't mean being cheap or miserable. Not at all. It just means being highly intentional with your money. You see it all the time. High earners like doctors or young pro athletes who have this incredible, explosive offense, but absolutely terrible defense, which means they make millions, but they spend it just as fast.
Let's see this defense in action by comparing two real case studies from the research. First, meet Mr. Johnny Lucas. He's a PA. He owns a small, totally unglamorous business, lives in a modest house, and drives a used truck. But because he has incredible defense, he invests almost everything he saves and is a completely stress-free multimillionaire. Now, contrast him with Dr. Alvin Miller. Dr. Miller is a highly respected cardiologist making a massive income. But because he feels this burning need to maintain the flashy image of a successful doctor, he leases brand new sports cars, lives in an ultra-expensive gated community, and has almost zero actual savings. He's a classic UAW. He's trapped in a golden cage of his own making, and if he stops working, his entire lifestyle instantly collapses.
But here's the thing, you also have to play defense with your time. Wealthy people don't just magically stumble into riches, they actively plan for it. Just like cramming for a huge exam, wealth builders consistently plan their finances. Ps will spend hours every single month researching investments, tracking their spending, and setting real goals. Meanwhile, the spendthrifts, our UAWs, often complain that they're quote-unquote too busy to plan their finances. Yet, ironically, they'll spend dozens of hours a month shopping for consumer goods or hunting for deals on luxury cars. It's a harsh truth, but if you don't allocate the time to manage your money's going to manage you.
Section 4. The Invisible Millionaire and the Reality of Wealth.
Okay, this next concept exposes what might just be the ultimate wealth trap, the new car depreciation curve. Society is constantly telling us that millionaires drive brand new luxury sports cars. But the data tells us the exact opposite. Over 50% of the surveyed millionaires had never spent a massive amount on a car, and they almost never lease. Why? Because they intimately understand the brutal math of depreciation. A brand new luxury car literally loses roughly 20% of its value the second you drive it off the dealership lot. Poof, gone. True millionaires let someone else take that massive financial hit. They happily buy reliable 2 to 3-year-old used cars for half the price and just drive them until the wheels fall off.
We also really need to talk about economic outpatient care, or EOC. This is a crazy, ironic cycle where wealthy or middle-class parents constantly give their adult children cash, pay their rent, or buy them luxury items out of love. It sounds nice, right? But the research reveals a pretty dark truth. The more financial help adult children receive, the less wealth they actually accumulate on their own. It accidentally destroys their grit, forces them into this high-consumption lifestyle they can't actually afford, and creates a lifelong dependence. Ultimately, true financial freedom is having the ability to stand entirely on your own 2 feet.
Furthermore, instead of chasing high-status careers that come with this immense, crushing pressure to look rich, the absolute smartest wealth builders dominate unglamorous niches. The source data shows that a huge chunk of self-made millionaires actually work in completely boring industries. We're talking paving, pest control, dry cleaning. Why on earth would they do that? Well, because these businesses have constant, undeniable demand, extremely high profitability, and incredibly zero social pressure. A corporate lawyer is practically expected to wear designer suits and drive a Porsche just to fit in at the office. But the owner of an excavation company, they can drive a regular old pickup truck to a muddy construction site, wear jeans, and quietly compound massive wealth without anyone batting an eye.
And finally, Section 5, your teenage action plan to start building wealth.
All right, I'm sketching out these 5 tactical steps right now so you can start acting like a paw today, no matter how old you are. Number 1, shift your mindset. You have to realize that spending is not the same as wealth. Number 2, track your money. Write down every single dollar that comes in and every dollar that goes out. Number 3, practice defense using the 24-hour rule. If it's not a strict necessity, wait a full day before buying it. This absolutely kills impulse purchases. Number 4, leverage compound interest. And number 5, focus your time on building high-value skills. Whether that's coding, writing, or repairing engines, those skills will be the unstoppable engine of your future offense. Because honestly, your ultimate superpower right now is time. Let's look at the math. If you start investing just $100 a month at age 16, by the time you're 60, assuming a standard average return, you'll be sitting on roughly $430,000. But if you wait until you're 30 to start investing that exact same $100 a month, you only end up with about $150 grand. By just starting early, you yield nearly triple the final wealth, literally triple. And it's purely through the beautiful, undeniable math of compound interest. You have an advantage right this second that a 40-year-old billionaire literally cannot buy.
So, looking at the clear path we've mapped out today, we are left with a massive decision. And honestly, the main message here is incredibly empowering. Becoming wealthy isn't about being born a genius or getting insanely lucky. It's entirely about your choices. So, I have to ask you, are you going to trade your future financial independence and the absolute magic of your youth just to look cool at a stoplight today? Or will you choose discipline, play great defense, and build a life of absolute, undeniable freedom?
Please like and subscribe.